Hello friends, this is my very first YouTube video. My name is Glitch Chick and I am here today to teach you how to make a coffin that you can actually get into. So kind of going with the spooky theme for Halloween. So you can lie in a coffin and potentially pretend like somebody just died, or pretend like you're being buried alive, just for the spooky season. Or you could have this all year long if you want, but I will teach you how to do this today. Alright, let me switch plots and then we will start this glitch from scratch. But before I do that, let me kind of show you everything here. So I have the headstone, and I just wrote on there the one we lost, but we'll never forget, just because I didn't want to put any specific name. I glitched together a sign and also the stones, the yardwork stones. And then a bunch of these, this is just the coal piles, but it looks like dirt. You could potentially use the leaf piles, but they look like leaves. So this looks like just fresh dirt that got dug up. Or you could potentially put down a lot of ungrown tree seeds. So if you don't water the tree seeds, you could do that and just lap them. But that would take a lot of work because the tree piles, the tree seed piles with the soil is so small. And these just require flint. So we are going to go ahead and move to my other plot, and I will see you there. All right, so we are here on my plot, on one of my other plots, and I'm going to show you how what we need and how to do this. So let's get started. You will need a few. So I believe it's 6 of the wall pieces of your choice. You can use wood, stone, even the iron. So if you want to have like a iron grave, you can do that, like a very sturdy grave. You can use a paver of any kind. That's just going to be your anchor point. Pavers are just easy to cover up with something else, like a flower bush or whatever. You need a bed, preferably a single bed, unless if you want a double coffin, but that's kind of like if you're going to have a two-person coffin, like a married couple, you could do that potentially. And then you also need some dirt piles, which is the coal piles, and you also need a couple of boxes. It can be the wood boxes or the other small cube, the stone ones. Really just any of those of your choice. All right, let's get started. You will also need a station for being able to glitch items into the ground. And I will show you how to do that as we go. If you don't know how to cancel place, I will be teaching you in here, and if you already know, then you know how to do it. So we will have to use a couple cancel placement methods. All right, so first of all, we are going to build our coffin box. So we are going to need we're going to build this on the ground first to make it easier. So I'm actually going to turn off the grid while I'm placing these down. So I'm going to hit Z on my keyboard, and if you're on a console, I can't remember what the button is for the switch to turn off the grid, and I'm not sure what it is on the other consoles, but you can Google that and find some resource that'll tell you how to turn off the grid. So what I'm doing is I'm placing these wood pieces so that both corners are lined up like that so that they're overlapping each other. And then the next piece I'm going to place down is going to overlap about a quarter of the way in, or like, no, actually more like a third of the way in, just to be about the size of the bed. I want them to overlap so that we're not making the coffin too long. Because if I make it as long as these boards, it's going to be really long, which is fine. So if you don't have the Z placement, if you don't have a way to turn off the grid easily, you could just make it long, like, you know, where you leave the grid on and like that. But I want to make mine shorter. So I'm going to place this on the end first so that I know how long the other one needs to be. So there, we're going to line it up right there. And then this last one is going to go right in here. Here we go. And then we will take our boxes. We're going to need two. And you can place the second box just right up next against it. And then we're going to group select this entire thing. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Gotta unclick those buttons because I was about to place something down. We're gonna group select this and pick all of it up. And we are going to attach it to these boxes right here. However, we want to make sure that we turn Z off if you're able to, just because I don't want this. I want to be able to put this at the height that I want it. I don't want our bedding to be too high, and I don't want our, because like if we put this all the way to the ground, there's not really going to be much box showing, and we want the bed to just be down a little bit lower than the actual box. So I'm just going to put it up just a little bit like that. And then we are going to need to cancel place this whole little section. But it's not going to let us group select it because I need the boxes to stay there. So what we're going to need to do is we only need to actually move a couple of these pieces out so that we can see to get our bed in there. You'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to cancel place this, and which is just moving it to a side but not placing it, and you hit the number on your keyboard that has an item that's able to be placed, but then you pretend like you're going to place it, and then you press B so you cancel it. On my controller it says B. Because I'm using a combination of keyboard and controller, I like to use the controller for moving around. So I'm going to cancel place these again. So I'm going to hit my 2 and then cancel. And then also this one. And just set it anywhere. Hit 2 and cancel. Alright, so now I'm going to get my bed. I'm going to pick up my bed and I'm going to put it in there. So we want the bed to be able to be close enough to the walls but not protruding through. It's going to protrude through on the outside, but I don't want it to protrude too much in the front right there, like where the head of the bed is. So I'm going to try to get this as close as I can to the front without sticking through. So that's about correct right there. It's going to pop through a little bit over on this side, and that's fine. And it will over on this because it's going to be in the ground. Nobody's going to see that. All right, so since we did some cancel placing, we're going to need to hop our plots. So just go ahead, and you need to have at least one other plot to be able to do this, this glitch. So we're just going to go to my buried alive plot where we started. Takes takes a while to load in because I have a lot of stuff. Finding the urge to sneeze. Okay. All right, so now we should have this over here all put together, just like that. Okay. So as you can see, the bed is basically the size of the coffin, and I can currently lie down in it if I want to, but we want to make it so that it's in the ground. So we do that by grabbing our paver, which I already put up on the shelf. So depending on how deep you want your coffin to go, this shelf will need to be at the height that you want for the distance. So we may have to play around with it a little bit. So right now I'm going to try it at this height right here. So I'm going to grab this paver, but I'm not going to place it. I'm going to cancel place it. So I'm going to pretend like I'm putting it down. I'm going to hit my number 2 and hit cancel. Now I'm going to group select this entire thing, all of it. And we're going to put it on top of the paver, but we're also going to put it on, I need to turn off C. We're also going to put it on the paver so that we can still see the paver sticking out from it. If I can get that to, there it goes. Because I need to be able to grab the paver. So, looks like, yep, there it's sticking out. Okay. So then once I move this paver, it's going to be in the ground just like that. And now I can lie down in it and it's in the ground. Okay. So then if you don't have the bedding sticking up at least a little bit out of the ground, it's not going to let you lay down in it. I've tried it in the past where the bedding was completely like all the way in the ground and it just doesn't let you lay in it at all. And the reason we have these boxes slightly higher is so that we are able to put a lid on the coffin. I had it lower before and it wasn't allowing me to put the lid on where I could actually still get in. So now we're putting the lid on and now we can still lie in the coffin and be buried alive. Now on the original coffin that I made, I did make it a little bit longer and I also used a different bed. So it's really just a matter of how you want to make it. You could make it so that it could fit both lids without having to do the Z placement. And I also, like, it just depends on how you want to place your lids. So like, I like to leave mine kind of, you know, a fun little, like, oh, it's kind of open. So left open like that, as if somebody just climbed out of it. And then you could also do it where you have a closed coffin and you could glitch it so that if we turn off Z, you could potentially, let's see if I can get it to work. It's very finicky on how it wants to be. Ooh. Ooh, I almost had it. Kind of like, I'm trying to get it right, the right area. My wings are kind of getting in the way. I could turn them off, but, ooh, I almost had it. Kind of like that, you know, where it's mostly closed. So it's really just up to you. But I think it's funnier to just have a piece kind of just like that, as if you just climbed out. And then you just place your dirt piles however you want, just around where you are placing your coffin. I placed mine originally in a area where it is out of bounds. So what I had to do is I had to make up an area around it where I glitched some floor pieces around to be able to put these piles on top of the floor pieces. So that's what I did in my area. But if you're just having this on your plot in the inbounds, you don't have to put anything underneath it. And you can also cancel place all this. So like if you want to have your dirt piles look a little bit closer into it, you could potentially move this entire. So if I were to move this out of the way for a minute, oop, didn't mean to do that. Move this. Ugh, oh my gosh, I cannot get this to move. Okay, move this out of the way. So you can group select. Let's see if we can get all the. Actually, this is your anchor. So you move it by with your anchor. So you move this out of the way just by cancel placing. And then I don't remember exactly where this was, but we're just going to pretend like it was here. Okay? And so if you want your dirt piles to kind of be closer and a bunch of them, you can hot plots. And that dirt pile should be like right up against where the coffin is. I should have paid attention to where it was. I guess it really wasn't as close as I thought. But what we could do, let me pull up some more dirt piles, is I'll show you this time. Since I know roughly where it is, I'm going to leave this dirt pile where it is. I'm going to move this out of the way by cancel placing. Oop. There we go. I didn't have anything in number 2. All right, so then I'm going to put this down. Let's see, maybe there. And then put down another one. Ooh, let's see. Put down another one like right here. And try there. Okay. So now let's hot plots. Sorry if you hear me sniffle a lot. I'm still trying to get over a cold. So you can see this dirt pile is kind of glitched in where the box is a little bit. So it's a lot closer to, it's kind of like the dirt is right up against it. So you could do that and do it as much as you want with as many dirt piles as you want. And you can make these dirt piles look and see how you can even see some of the dirt in the box, but that's not really gonna matter. If you want the dirt to not show, you want to make sure that you don't have too much up here close in the front area. The back doesn't really matter unless if you're leaving the bottom part of the coffin open, like if you want it all the way open. So just play around with it, but that is how you do that. And again, just make sure that you put this, this is your anchor piece for this entire coffin. So don't delete this piece. Well, actually you can't delete it because it's gonna tell you, here, let's try to pick it up. It's gonna tell you, you must pick up interior decor first. So you can move it, but when you move it, everything is gonna go with it. So you don't want to do that. And then you can just cover this up. You could potentially cover this up with a dirt pile. So I could potentially take this and put this there. Just remember that that's where that was. This anchor could literally be anywhere. So if you wanted to have this anchor closer to your coffin, then all you would do is, I'm not going to use that piece, but I'm going to use this piece to show you. You would just take, when you put this on here, there we go, you would just grab it. Let me make sure I have a cancel place item. You would just grab it and put it down like right here, like right next to, so that it's just a little bit away from the original placement. So then you just cancel place it down there. And then now once you put something on there, so like, let's just put this for instance on there. And then you pick up your paver. And now that piece is, you see where it is? You see the green under the ground? When I put that there, it's literally right here. So it is currently attached to this paver, no matter where I put this paver. And that's how you make an anchor. Okay. All right, well, that is all for today. And the way that I decorated mine is I put my shovel, I took my shovel and attached it to here. Because your shovel, if you have those, it'll allow you to put it against any wall. So any wall or crate piece. So you could do that. And with the headstone, I could show you how to do that real quick, but I think I'm out of signs. So you really just take your headstone and you cancel place the sign in the same spot as your headstone. So you just move the headstone out of the way, or the piece that is the stone. You move that out of the way and put the sign where that is and switch plots. But that's all for today, folks. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Oh yes, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.